So what went through my mind as I saw Kabul fall into the Taliban? So, of course, there was some negotiations prior to this incident, but this was really unbelievable and shocking because uh, I personally and I believe I strongly believe that majority of Afghans didn't expect that this fall will happen that quick, and the way that happened is something was very unpredictable, unbelievable. So it was a shock because it was just not something that we were expecting after 20 years of all hard work of people and the government and the international community. So this was not something that we were expecting. So it was shocking and very unpredictable. After 20 years of establishing a governing system, I was not expecting that things will go this easy and quick or swift. Um, but the reason most probably is that it was part of the deal when USA signed a deal with Taliban, and then I think this was at that time there was some gossips that there are some articles in that deal which is not given to public, and this is things the things that we saw now was some at that time people were just gossiping in social media that these kind of like handing over provinces and more power to Taliban would be probably part of the deal, but uh, to hand over all country and that easy, we were not expecting, and it was again unbelievable incident that a whole country, all provinces and the capital just fall under Taliban within a week, except for Panjshir, which is now the only hope for people who are waiting to see what Taliban is doing. Otherwise, they can start resistance from that province. I have lived under Taliban the first time when they took over the power. I was very young at that time. So, and it was just, and I can't explain that feeling that we had at that time. It was just horrible, sad, depressive, and boring lifestyle. No human right, no honor for or respect for people. They were just dealing with people like a very badly and like a wild animal. So I have two very bad memories that I will never ever forget. On top of all the times, every moment living under Taliban can be considered a bad memory, but those two will always stay with me and is sometimes just making me very sad when I remember even. One is the when I was these two incidents are kind of relevant as well. I one day I was riding my bike to go to one of my relatives' place, and on the way I was caught by Talib, and he held from my shoulder very tight and stopped me because I didn't have a cap on my head like Islamic cap that some people wear, and I had short hair. It wasn't a stylish long hair, but it was just not covered. So that Talib made me to sit in this edge of the street where a barber was sitting and was cutting people's hair, and there was a line. So I had to sit in the line, and I was feeling just disgusted and like it was a very bad feeling that you feel that you're nothing and you have lost your ownership, your honor, you have nothing. So and they cut my hair, and that's how the other like when I went home I decided that I'm not going to uni anymore, I'm not studying, I'm not staying in this country anymore. So after my dad convinced me and he gave me some very good advice. He said, look, if you don't go to uni you will lose this opportunity of education. Taliban will go away soon or later, but if you miss this education opportunity you will probably not get it again. So if you don't go to uni you will lose something, not the Taliban. Just so he encouraged me and I started going to uni. But next week I started going to uni, and then the second day had a uni lecturer. Like in the during Taliban, every day was starting with the Islamic subject always, and those people who were lecturing, they were high rank Taliban officials. So that day, the lecturer was a guy from he was the assistant in deputy assistant minister of defense, very high rank for Talib, in a Talib government. So I entered in the classroom and I forgot to change my hat to the Islamic cap, like the way that people wear in the mosque and during the prayer. So it was a rule that you had to have a cap or turban when you entered the classroom. So he looked at me and he said, and it was around the 9/11, and it was around that time, and he told me that, do you think that we are scared of USA and you're getting ready by wearing a hat, a Western style hat? And do you think that this will, we will leave the country and these infidels will come and take over and you're getting ready for that time? And while he was talking, he pull out his gun, a pistol, and put it on the table and said, "Look, I can kill you straight away right now, and no one can do anything because we are still in power, and don't try to show me that we are weak." So I was trying to argue and say, look, I'm using this for son and to protect son and things like that. But my colleague who was sitting next to me, he pulled my hand and said, don't argue, just say yes, don't say anything. So I tolerated a lot, and I was scared as well at the same time. To be honest, it was scary. So I waited until the end of that subject and I left uni and I went home and I said, look, I told to my parents I'm not going to uni anymore until it's all is solved, or I will never ever go to uni. Luckily, that 9/11 incident happened and the things changed very rapidly, and the US attacked Taliban, withdraw them as they brought them back. It was that swift, like it was quick to withdraw them and it was quick to bring them back. It was same kind of history but opposite at different times. So those are the memories. On top of there are a lot of memory. Like if I go back and remember, like even we had a TV, dish TV that we in the private and secretly we used to watch TV, and just purely because of news, my dad was interested in news as well. Every night we used to adjust that antenna and everything, and after watching for 1 or 2 hours, we used to just disassemble everything and keep it in the underground. We had a private and secret place in underground, and every moment was like just a bad memory. I hope it doesn't repeat as it was the same in the past. So I hope they can show some change and they can maintain those change. That's something important. I have family members and who can be targeted and at the moment. So my parents and my younger sister, who was also having some business activities. So she was an active person, but not at the moment. So in the most women who were working in the government or private sectors, they choose and they prefer to stay in until things are much clearer because they can't trust. And I totally agree with this concern because Taliban are not the people to be trusted very easily, and don't trust them and don't trust Taliban so quick. So my family, I'm in contact with them. They are not in immediate danger at the moment because our expectation was that Taliban will just enter, destroy, kill people, and do stupid things as they were doing last time. There are some videos which shows that some of Taliban members are going to people's houses, taking their vehicles, and they're trying to interrogate them and things like that. So, which is contradicting with what they sometimes say in the media. I'm in contact with my family member, and we are hoping that we can get them out as soon as possible to somewhere safe. And I can't get in touch with a lot of my friends, and even I tried few to contact someone Facebook and Messenger. They some either some respond like say if things are in control, nothing unusual and things like that. But I fear that they probably are scared of the Taliban, and I don't think people will be that brave to tell the truth at this stage. It's an uncertain situation until we see what happens next. Scenarios you've explained, like Afghan president fleeing, the US diplomats fleeing, thousands of Afghans chasing aircraft, and that horrible incident which happened, like you can see people falling from the aircraft and some other horrific images. Like these are all very, very disturbing and shameful incidents. When I use shameful, it's for I want to emphasize that this is very shameful for USA and their allies to spend all those time, resources, and with the cost of people's life, hundreds of Afghans' life, hundred thousands and thousands of foreigners and Western, including American lives of the military, and then we saw those kind of scenarios at the end. So I really feel bad and sad, and I feel like Afghanistan has been uh, betrayed with this kind of dealing with USA. They have always misused Afghans and Afghanistan, leaving the country and the people in a bad situation. So it's a shameful incident that we are witnessing, and this will be recorded in the history. Everyone in the world knows that this shouldn't happen after existence of America for 20 years in another country to fix problems. It doesn't matter what problem you were there. You have spent a trillion or more than $1 trillion, and you've killed so many people. And then at the end, that's the end. The end was exactly like the beginning. It's the only difference is that at the beginning they tried to get out of withdraw Taliban, and now they brought Taliban back. Let's not forget that Taliban are scary and very, very wild creatures. Like they have done things in the past and during past 20 years that you can't trust them. That's why people are desperate. That's why people want to just get out. The fact that we saw the country fall under Taliban that quick, it gives you a message that probably we didn't have achievements in the military and political basis, but overall there were achievements based for humans, women's rights, and other democratic activities like election and things like that. But those things will be definitely lost if there is no agreement on a proper governmental system.